Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover some news from the last couple days as well as the games that occurred today, Monday, February 19th in the LPL LEC, then preview tomorrow's games in the LPL. So the news is that C9 has decided to swap out Diplex for Eminez. Going into the split, we knew that they brought in two rookie mid laners, Diplex, a European import, and Eminez, a Korean import who was playing in ERLs as well. So halfway through the split, they've decided to make a move. Maybe this to determine who they want to go with in the summer split. They're giving a fair shot to both, saying, hey, you both get 9 games and then we go from there. I think Eminez may be a little bit better, and we're going to get into the stats now. So Eminez in Academy put up a 4-1 KDA, 8.6 CS per minute, 66.8 KP. It's pretty good. On average, he's winning his matchups. Is it exuberant, like 9 CS per minute, like we see some of the top mid laners do at the highest level, or, showing that they dominate at a level? No. But he is super aggressive, and the way he plays is very chaotic. 815 damage per minute, 31.1 damage share. He is a carry in the mid lane when it comes to damage. Like 30%, we see over here 32%, like 32%, 27%, 28%, like 30% or higher, that is a carry. So he definitely does work in that regard. 22.8 gold share, secondary gold numbers, 26 solo kills in 20 games, and when you look over his entire career, I believe he has 116 solo kills in like 91 games or something like that. Like that's, I think, the number that includes a split in Oceania a few years ago, some games in the TCL, ERLs, and North America. The issue is he's always had trouble keeping his cool, not tilting, and being sane in solo queue. Sometimes he goes off the handle, says some things he shouldn't say, and that's why he's never gotten a pro shot. Played 10 champions in 20 games this year. On average, throughout these 20 games, he's ahead 625 gold, 13 CS, and 375 XP at 15 minutes. So he's winning his matchups in the 1v1 in a big way. Now, Diplex, these numbers are obviously at a higher level of play. Higher level of play, the LCS, right? So this is going to be, tougher competition than what he's facing in Eminez is facing in Academy. Plus, Eminez is 2-3 years older than Diplex. We have to keep that in mind also. Diplex is 19, and I think Eminez might be 22 years old. 7.7 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 64.1 KP. So the KP is very similar, but you see, on average, against the LCS mid laners, he's losing in CS. He's not getting as much farm. But the KDA is very good. So he's passive. He's not that. There are moments we've seen him play aggressive in game. Don't get me wrong. But over the aggregate, he's more of a KDA player so far. And it's probably because he's very young. 700 damage per minute, 25.9 damage share. That is secondary to third tier damage per game, right? You're looking at 25.9. That's more of an even spread sort of situation. 6% less damage. That's the difference between a top tier carry, secondary carry in a comp. 21 gold share, so doesn't require as much gold. 5 solo kills in 11 games, played 7 champions, so once again a wide champion pool as well. In laning phase, on average, he's been down 200 gold, 7 CS, and XP has been even. So he stays in his lane about as much as his opponent, but he comes down in CS by a bit. I mean, 7 isn't the end of the world, but usually it's in the bottom part of a region's rankings in that category. And 200 gold, I mean, that's a bit, but it's not like a ton. Like nearly 650 gold. That's could be a component to a item, right? So there is a big difference there between 200 and 600. I think this gives C9 a different look for the second round robin, and we'll see what comes of it after this. Just making sure I'm recording, and I am. So went 3-0 today in my predictions, 149 and 64 on the year. Recap: LPL, Ninja and Pajamas and Thunder Talk. Thunder Talk were 21st in the power rankings. Power rankings come out tomorrow. 4-3, Nip 2-5, ThunderTalk win 2-0. UCal in mid lane went 19 kills, 1 death, 4 assists, 32% of the team's damage. He played Akali in game 1, and then had a 13 kill Tristana game in game 2. Wanfeng 7-0-14, he played a Varus and a Jhin. Fodic, once again, leading for Nip, going 6-5-3, 35% of damage. Positive KDA, trying to deal as much damage as he can, but Fodic cannot do it all. Nip went back with Dream in mid lane, and I thought that was a mistake. I said it yesterday. I don't remember if I did in my roundup or my prediction, but I know I did. I thought Pout gave this team a better look. In the end, they don't end up playing him, and they play Dream both games, and it goes poorly. Invincible did not look that great into Hoya. Hoya solo killed Invincible in game 1. Hoya on a Scion and Invincible on an Aurelia. And then Hoya was a lot more impactful the rest of the game. Invincible making mistakes on the Aurelia. Trying to think. Beishwan dealt a ton of damage in this series. Had a very nice KDA as well. Excuse me. Wanfeng obviously gets mentioned because he didn't die at all. He played great. Yao Yao had a very good Nautilus game. Really, there wasn't a lot going for Nip in this one. They had some moments where they'd find some kills, but they were relatively behind for the majority of this series. And ThunderTalk, I mean, they're trying to give me a positive spin going into the power rankings tomorrow is what it is. After losing their last series to OMG, I'm like, this team's disappointing me. And then they beat a team like Ninjas, who aren't very good, mind you. They're 2-6 now. But it's like, okay, they're clearly still a mid-tier team. Now, what do I do from here? I mean, I'll look at what stats I have provided and then kind of try and, use a lot of stats to eliminate my bias for ThunderTalk. But UCal playing Tristana is a beautiful sight to see. LGD and RNG, LGD 2-5, RNG 3-4, 15th in the power rankings. They win 2-0 again. Gala 9-2-10, 32% of damage. Angel goes 5-1-18 and is MVP. Hai Chao 1-3-3, 27% of damage for LGD. Once again, Hai Chao leading the way for his team in a loss. But RNG with Angel, simple as that. Played Twisted Fate in Talia in this one and was very impactful. Looked like RNG of old. This is the situation that RNG need to be in. Looks like RNG from the last 5 years. Now, it's against LGD. LGD absolutely are not very good. They're 2-5, right? But this is the confidence builder that RNG needs after firing a couple coaches, swapping out mid laners. Ming is finally getting it together with Gala after, a couple months apart. Breathe and Xiaozhu in top lane. I mean, it went in the favor of Breathe at times, Xiaozhu at others. But I would say Breathe got the better of him across the board. Wei had a Wukong in both games, did a lot of work. And obviously the bot lane was very, very solid with 9-2-10. And honestly, the mid lane matchup, Angel, a lot of his impact went outside of the lane. That's why Hai Chao only died 3 times in 2 games. I mean, Hai Chao's trying to do as much as he can. He knows XQW's there and putting pressure on him. So we'll see what LGD do next. RNG making me feel good about never taking them out of the top 25 in my power rankings. LEC. So Koi and G2 upper bracket finals. Koi 19th at 4-5. G2 14th, 6-3. This was a 3-1 that was very close in the second half of the series. So Han Sama goes 26 kills, 7 deaths, 21 assists. Leads the team with 27% of damage. Broken Blade went 8-4-21. He was MVP to me. I think that's because of his Game 4 performance. Comp went 18-13-18, 28% of damage across from Han Sama. So, Game 1, G2 definitely had it going on, right? Through the bot lane, they really did a lot of work. Really, it's so hard to remember the beginning part of the series because the end of the series was just so just right there. But so they went through bot lane. There were actually, honestly, Malrain got them ahead. He got them ahead. He put Caps behind a couple kills. I remember, can see that right now. Malrain went mid lane twice in the early game, got Caps behind on a Jace. But Koi just slowly threw the game away, and by the end of laning phase, it was pretty much tied. G2 started taking advantage, and they ran the table after that for that game. Game 2, G2 trolled. Or, you know what, let's put it this way. G2, and this is why I actually predicted 3-1, so I thought G2 was going to troll the game, and Koi was going to win the game that G2 troll. And they try and do a scrim, which is what they did. I mean, G2 went with Sejuani mid, Belveth in the jungle. Belveth belongs in the jungle. Sejuani doesn't really belong in mid lane. It can be flexed, but just because something can be doesn't mean it's great. You can pick any champion in any role if you truly want it to. I mean, obviously. So they win that game. And not only do they win it, they crushed Koi. Absolutely decimated Koi. In every way. The bot lane got completely gapped. Mid lane was gapped. They started... G2 punched Koi in the mouth in the early game. Literally level 1 invading. Getting Malrang back on his heels. And it... I mean, Koi didn't have an answer. And it just continued. And I mean, they completely dominated him. It wasn't even close. In game 3, Koi responded. G2 went with Lilia in the jungle. Lilia's been okay pick for Yike so far, but it wasn't that great this time. And, you know, Koi ended up coming out ahead. Koi find a way. I think this was a game they picked Sivir in the yeah, they did. They did. You know why? Because Comp is actually... Comp gets an MVP vote for me. Because in game 3, he got a penta. So, and if you're new to the channel, and I don't care if you're not new and you don't like this, but if somebody gets a pentakill, they get MVP status for me. That doesn't happen every day. This might be, you know, I don't know, Comp probably already has one in his career that I'm forgetting. But the point is, some players only get one. But he got a penta towards the end of game 3 on Sivir when the game was getting out of hand. But nevertheless, it counts. And Koi come out ahead in game 3. And then game 4, which is what really sticks out to me, is back and forth. But the issue was Koi drafted a composition where Ari was the only AP, but Larson built it in a very defensive manner. He built low damage. He built Everfrost, Zonias, and couldn't do anything. And because he couldn't do anything in the way the Drakes rolled, it allowed G2 to just build armor and say, screw you. I don't care about you, Larson. You're not going to kill me anyways because you don't have enough damage. So we're going to make sure the Varus Callista bot lane double lethality doesn't kill us. And then the Gnar doesn't kill us. Malrang tried to do his best on a Vi. He definitely caught out Tristana a few times, but Caps really left a lot on the table in this series. I don't think he was MVP worthy at all, given his Jace game was so scuffed in the early game, and then the Tristana game was awful. I think he was the only player on G2 that you may not make a case for MVP of this one. But, you know, they just didn't... Koi just... They were close, though. There were so many fights, like... Koi got a kill in the mid game onto Yike. Yike was on Maokai. Maokai, obviously, super disgusting champion. Completely controlled the games. Like, if you don't pick Maokai, I think you are inting draft immediately. I really do think that, especially when Silas is banned, which G2 banned, I think, in every game because they didn't want Larson to have it. It just controlled every objective, right? But Koi pick off Yike, decide not to go Baron. It was definitely a risky play to do. But after that, they really didn't have another chance. They tried to start it a couple times. It would get snuffed out by G2. G2 and them would continue to fight around the Baron for what felt like 10 minutes, multiple fights going into the top lane, where Koi somehow would come out even. Despite G2 looking like they won the series, they won the series, but win the fight. But multiple Koi members with very low health bars. Somehow, Comp gets a double kill in the end of one fight. Sisgenda does work in the next one. Like, they're somehow finding ways to get kills. But unfortunately, G2 are stacking Drakes the whole time. They take Chemtech Soul. And they've got triple Radiant Virtue going for their team on G2. So G2 are just in a great position. They're unkillable. And it's a lot to do with the way Larson built. If Larson had built differently, maybe G2 has to approach the game a bit differently. Maybe Larson's more relevant. I mean, not only was he not dealing damage, but even his KP was super low. Like, he was like 0-4 and 5 when his team had 18 kills. Like, that is trash. And Broken Blade ends up being MVP because on the Olaf, at one point, he was like 5-0 and 10 in the top lane. He was unkillable in Game 4. He was the reason why they won. So, Broken Blade's MVP, Comp's MVP. I know some people aren't going to like that Comp's MVP, but he got a penta, so he gets my flowers. Sneak peek, OMG and Ultra Prime for tomorrow. OMG 3-3, Ultra Prime 2-5. OMG coming off of a win against Thunder Talk. Ultra Prime coming off of a loss to Weibo. Week 1, Day 3 of Summer. Ultra Prime will win 2-0. Only 4 of the 10 players overlapped from that series, all on the losing side, OMG. So Shanji was the best of the 4 in that loss, going 6-8 and 5. The bot lanes are the matchups highlighted. Abel and PP God against Doggo and Baolan. Both the bright spots on these teams thus far this split. But you would like a little bit more out of OMGs. We thought PP God was going to be able to bring a new element to this team. And against Thunder Talk, they did. But let's see if they can continue that against a team that you would consider definitely a step below OMG in Ultra Prime. Weibo, 7th in the power rankings, IG in 9th. So, my power rankings will be all done except for LPL going into tomorrow, and I'll actually have to wait on this before I can complete my power rankings. Weibo 4-2, IG 5-3. Jesus Christmas, I can't speak today. Weibo beat Ultra Prime. IG lost to JDG. This was the opening series of Summer Split. Weibo won 2-1. 2 of the 10 players overlapped, the Shy and Wink. The Shy went 9-10 and 24. In that series, he had a 1-8-1 Cal game. The Shy and YSCam is the matchup highlighted because obviously everyone's looking forward to that. That's not just my Discord thing. That's an everybody thing. See how YSKM shows? You should know me against the Shy. YSCam's probably looked up to the Shy for a couple of years now. This is going to be a big moment for him. And the Shy has to show up because if he wants to end this series, he is not going to win. IG are no team to take lightly. A lot of teams have taken them lightly this year, and they've been on the losing side of it. JDG got after them, and they beat them. So we'll see what Weibo brings to the table and what IG brings to the table. So that's it for the roundup. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.